Well, thanks for the opportunity. I guess I'll be the first one out of the starting blocks for the summer series. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully this will work. Okay, can you see that? Okay, great. All right, so I'm the director of the Joint Military Leadership Center, and the opening slide here just it's not only just our logo for the Joint Military Leadership Center, but I've included each of the ROTC units that we have on campus, Army, Naval, and Air Force. And the reason why I have to have those on there is because without them, I have no job or no center really to work with. So even though the three ROTC units are separate academic departments that report directly to the Dean of Undergraduate Studies, uh, I'm part of the academic inclusion pillar with Dr. Delgado, and my primary function really is to support the training and support that the ROTC units need to be on campus here and serve our ROTC students. Of one note is that the University of South Florida is one of only about 50 colleges and universities nationwide that do have all three programs. A lot of colleges will either have a crosstown agreement, or if they have a unit, they may only have one or two services, but only about 50 nationwide have all three. In the state of Florida, it's only USF, University of Florida, and Embry-Riddle University. So we are kind of unique here in the state of Florida as well. Oh, but let me go back to my previous slide again. Kind of a little bit about the logo that came up with when the JMLC started back in 2004. We actually had students submit a renderings for a logo, and we could not use any of the seals of the different services. So we had to come up with something unique. So in the upper left, of course, that's the Air Force, and now Air Force also has the Space Force involved with them. In the upper left corner, on the upper right corner is symbols for the Navy with an anchor, of course, a navigational compass, or showing the true north. Bottom left is the Army, showing that everything contingent on the Army is the soldier. And then on the bottom right is the eagle, globe, and anchor depiction of the U.S. Marine Corps. Okay, our home is CW Bill Young Hall. We have all the ROTC programs are located here, as well as my office. First of all, Bill Young is a former congressman in the state of Florida. He was the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, one of the longest serving congressmen in the House of Representatives. And the building is named after him because he was very instrumental in starting the Joint Military Leadership Center and getting this building on campus. Initially, it was a vision of former President Dr. Judy Genshaft to have all three ROTC programs. When she came on board as our president in I think 2000, she made it a priority to get a naval ROTC unit on board. Air Force and Army had already been here for a number of years. And then with the assistance of Congressman Bill Young, and also with the advice of the commanding general at U.S. Central Command at MacDill Air Force Base, they helped her with getting the assistance to get a naval ROTC unit on campus, and also at having all three services. The idea that she had was, I want to have a program that supports and emphasizes jointness between the ROTC programs. We're co-located here in Tampa with MacDill Air Force Base, and at MacDill Air Force Base, we have two major unified combatant commands. One being U.S. Central Command, which is a regional commander basically for all the Middle East, and then also we have a functional command at a high level, the U.S. Special Operations Command. So having these assets here close to our campus, it was unique to have something that will kind of emphasize some jointness between the ROTC programs. And that's how the JMLC got started. In the building, just to kind of give you an overview, some of you may have already been here, some of you haven't. It's not just an ROTC building, really, because on the first floor, we have general university classrooms which are open to to any academic classes that university space assigns. But then the rest of the building is more for ROTC. The second floor are ROTC dedicated classroom spaces. The third floor is basically for ROTC students with a lounge, a computer lab that they can utilize for themselves. Also, storage and storage for uniforms and books for each ROTC service. And on the fourth floor is where all the ROTC staff, instructors, and myself have our offices. But I think that the building and the JMLC as a center is unique in that not any other college campus that I'm aware of has something similar to this anywhere in the country. I have talked to other universities and colleges about a facility like this, and without a doubt, everybody points to USF as being an example of what that other universities should strive for as far as having a center to support ROTC. But we are more than the building. Man, building is just there as an asset for us, but it's more than just the building. Really, the vision and mission for having the Joint Military Leadership Center is to make USF an ROTC center of excellence. And some of the ways that we do that are, number one is providing and maintaining the building that we have and making it a up-to-date, current, state-of-the-art training facility to support ROTC, both for academic classes and also with sponsorship of joint activities. Before we had the JMLC and the building, we were kind of spread out amongst other of the ROTC units, were spread out in several buildings on campus. So there was no cohesiveness. Each ROTC unit really didn't do anything with the other departments, or very little. And that's what typically happens on most college campuses. The Army or the Navy will just operate independently. They may know each other exists, but they're completely separated in how they conduct their routine day-to-day classes and activities. So we made it a priority to have sponsorship of joint activities, which I'll talk about in following slides, but also promoting some joint planning, working with the ROTC units to share resources as far as visits, professional activities, and so forth. And this also helps not only the instructors, but also the students in learning what it's like to operate with the other services. It's very basic and rudimentary compared to what they'll do in the real world, but at least it's a starting point for them to think about, hey, I'm not just here to be in whatever service I'm in. We're all going to leave here and serve our country, and I'm going to have to work with the other services to operate and defend our country. Yeah, so and just some of the pictures there in the upper left, it's a picture of our joint lounge. And so it's an area where before we had a separate lounge, for each service. Now we have one for everyone. So the students are meeting with each other and interacting with each other. I mean, before we had this building, they probably didn't recognize and know who the students and the other services who was in ROTC. So now they see each other every day when they're going to classes or hanging out in the lounge and so forth. Center picture there is a picture of our joint color guard, which usually we do that several times a year jointly when we have a big event. In this case, it was one of our Salute to Service football games. In the upper right, you can see on the south side of our building, we have the rappelling wall. And so the Army ROTC, they have to do rappelling at least once a year. And we've used that on a number of occasions for them for their training. And those of you who've been around for a while, you probably know that during Family and Friends Weekend, we do have opportunities for anybody to sign a waiver and get trained and jump off the side of our building. So if that's something that intrigues you, hopefully we'll be doing it here next fall for Family and Friends Weekend. In the bottom left is it's called the EST 2000. It's the Engagement Skills Trainer, which is basically a simulated firing range. And we use that to help train our students before they go to an actual fire range to learn some weapon safety, how to handle weapons. And then it's just a big video game in some respects, but they use the actual M16s, M4s, M9 pistols that are just demilitarized with a laser on it hooked up to an air compressor, so you get some recoil, and it's a good training for them and familiarity with them. And it's a lot of fun to be able to use that. So we have that. And again, for Family and Friends Weekend, we do open that up for visitors to test out their skills on a rifle or a pistol. And then the other on the bottom right picture, just a picture of some of our students of all services getting together. In this case, it's in one of our inside of the living learning community. But you'll constantly see students, in the building just with each other. Okay, some of our activities and programs I'll go through. Again, going back to what I said earlier about having two major combatant commands at MacDill Air Force Base, we've have a good relationship with both major commands, U.S. Central Command and Special Operations Command, and we try to visit at least one of these commands once a year. I bring a group of students over. Preferably, we try to get some of our seniors who are getting ready to graduate and be commissioned, and go over for a visit. Some of the things that they do when they're there. Well, first of all, Major Combatant Command, that's kind of like the highest strategic level of planning. In the case of Central Command, they're in charge of all operations in the Middle East. So talking about relationships between the various countries in the Middle East, especially during the wars in Afghanistan and in Iraq. That's where a lot of the high-level strategic planning takes place. So our students going in there and getting briefed by a general officer about what's going on in there, gives them a really that high-level view, because when they leave here, they're of course going to be at the very very tactical level, and but all their commands and planning is coming from this headquarters at MacDill Air Force Base. So in the one picture on the left is just a picture of one of the general officers that actually came here, and he was the deputy operations officer for CENTCOM, giving a presentation to our cadets about what's going on at U.S. Central Command. And they also have the opportunity to visit their Joint Operations Center, which is really the keeps the commander at CENTCOM updated 24/7 on what's going on, the JOC, or the Joint Operations Center. They got a chance to visit that and mix with some of the watchstanders there. They've also had some seminars with a cross-section of officers that work there and senior enlisted to kind of go over what their functions are in the command and what their careers are like as well. Also, we've had the opportunity to, at Special Operations Command, and to go to their wargaming center, which is a state-of-the-art, three-dimensional auditorium that displays on a floor, and they do a map of any region in the world. It's very up to date, and students have the opportunity to go inside that wargaming center and just hear about some of the things the Special Operations Command is doing there. So great opportunity for them to, no other university I know can do that, since we have two major commands here in Tampa with MacDill Air Force Base. One of our another events that we have every year is for an anniversary of 9/11, a Patriot Day joint run. And this is really the only opportunity that we get all three ROTC units with all their students and staff for a PT session, or basically it's about a 3-mile run that we do on 9/11, just to honor and remember what happened that day, and to memorialize the lives that were lost, and to think about the commitment that our students are going to be, that the commitment they have to serving our country and defending it in the future. But it's a good way to connect with the past, along with their service coming up in the future. It's a very motivational run, because they run in their formation separately, and then during the run on campus, they'll be singing singing and running around with their banners and flags and everything. So it's very inspirational and motivational to participate in that run. And last year, for the first time, we actually had invited the Tampa Police Department. We had the district commander of Tampa Police and a unit from his district there, and also from the Tampa Fire and Rescue. One of their trucks came over and participated and was there. So it was a very inspirational event to come with our first responders as well. So when we do, we do it on the anniversary of 9/11. And if you're interested in running, let me know. We can invite you to participate, because we do like to maybe expand it a little bit. I know the Office of Veteran Success has expressed an interest, and we can make that happen. Another activity that we sponsor throughout the year is we call it a Commander's Cup, and it's a competition between all the services to win this. It's a series of various sporting events, and the reason why we do this is, I went to the Naval Academy, and being Navy, we always got drilled in our heads that you want to beat Army in every competition that we play in Air Force, whether it's football, basketball, any sport. And it just gives you that it just helps drive that competitive spirit. And it's a friendly competition, because at the end of the day, you're all on the same team, but it just allows you to express some team spirit and teamwork. So it promotes service pride, and also gives you some leadership opportunities as well, working in teams. So that was one of the reasons why we started this Commanders Cup, just to have that competitiveness, and also display of athletic ability to get out there outside of your normal PT session. So we do it year round. We used to do it on a single day, kind of like a field day, but with student schedule, it was difficult to do. So now we do it during their morning PT sessions, and we'll schedule a different event, usually 4 or 5 throughout the year. In the middle picture, that's the actual Commander's Cup that is displayed in the office of the ROTC unit that wins it that year or the preceding year. And we have a little like plaque underneath that tells you, who won it in which year. We started it in 2004, so it's been an ongoing and a source of pride for the students. And we do basketball. As you can see in the upper left, up on the upper right is soccer. Also, we started doing a 5K race for the first time this year, which was successful. And on the bottom left, actually, it's a presentation of the Ultimate Frisbee Trophy that we do. So also do volleyball, and we've done dodgeball as well. So and tug of war. So it's fun to do. The students actually plan these individual events. Each service takes turns planning it. So it gives the students an opportunity to plan and work with the other services to come up with these events. And then and then also some small unit leadership with team captain and practicing and so forth like that for each competition. So it enhances the ROTC curriculum, I think, in many ways. And then we do a couple of social events throughout the year that we try to do jointly. One is a joint cookout or barbecue at the USF Riverfront Park. We've been doing this for several years. And again, it's the only opportunity to get all the students together, along with their instructors, in a social, get away from the building and the campus a little bit, and just have some fun. So we usually have one of our Commanders Cup events, the final event, at the picnic, to kind of close out the competition and present the Commanders Cup trophy. But people are out there, playing cornhole, tossing the football around, things like that, and of course, enjoying some traditional burgers and hamburgers in an informal atmosphere, and to get to know each other outside of the classroom, outside of our uniforms, etc. And then we do have an ROTC senior celebration that we do to honor all our graduating seniors for that particular year. Because one of the reasons why we do that is because in addition to the students going to, of course, commencement and getting their diplomas, we have commissioning ceremonies for each one, which is going on at the same time. So it's hard to get everybody together to kind of celebrate and honor our graduating seniors, and allow some of our senior leaders at USF to do that as well. So we started doing that as a reception sometime in the last few weeks of the semester. I think for future planning purposes, we may be combining these events next year, just to facilitate, again, more access for people to attend, and to keep it fun. And again, a lot of these activities, again, are planned not only by myself and Lori Matthews, my assistant, but we get the students involved in planning and executing this as well. Another thing that we've been trying to do with during the course of the years is various scholarships to support our ROTC students, and also the ability to send them to some conferences that are held throughout the country. One of the scholarships we do is the Captain James Holbrook Scholarship, and this is named after Jason Holbrook, who's actually a West Point alum, but he was married to a USF alumni. He was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2010, and upon his death, the parents of or the in-laws of Jason Holbrook, who are USF alum as well, approached us about doing something in his memory. And we decided that not just to give money to the students, but the ability to send them to some of these national level leadership conferences at the different service academies and other colleges. The funds would be used to pay for their airfare and so forth to attend these conferences. So since we've been doing this again since about 2010, when they started the scholarship, it's now an endowed scholarship, from what I understand, and we send four students every year to attend a conference. And we have the opportunity at the football salute to service game to recognize the students. The picture there shows actually, because of the pandemic, we had all the students from the past 2 years that received the scholarships down getting honored on the football field, along with Mr. John and Cindy Harper, who are great supporters of us in leading that scholarship. We also have the 495th Legends Scholarship. The 495th Legends is a group of Army Reservist veterans who served in the first Gulf War, and they raise money through running a series of golf tournaments through the state of Florida, and they support various veterans scholarships, including one here at USF for the Office of Veteran Success, and also this one for ROTC students. And so again, it goes to one student from each ROTC unit every year. And then we have the JMLC Selfless Service Scholarship. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's raised with money from our brick fund that we have, and it goes to students who are involved with community service and display the core values of their service. And it's selected by the ROTC cadre. Separate from the Holbrook Scholarship, where we send students to leadership conferences, the U.S. Naval Academy has a Foreign Affairs Conference every year that is really regarded as one of the best undergraduate foreign affairs conferences in the nation. And so the JMLC has been sponsoring at least one student every year to go to this conference. And that snapshot there is kind of a good view of it, because one of the key things of it is the roundtable discussions. And so there's a particular foreign affairs theme that they have every year, and then the students that participate, they come from all over the country, not just the service academies or ROTC. Many of the civilian institutions attend that with delegates, and internationally as well. Students come from all over the world to attend this conference. And so in these roundtable discussions, they get down to that small group, usually about 10 to 12 people, and they'll do a separate or subtopic from the main conference theme to talk about. And I've attended this conference myself as a roundtable advisor, and it's really a great opportunity to hear perspectives from different student representatives from different countries, different political backgrounds, different experiences, and it opens up our students' awareness of what's going on in the world, other people's opinions, and being able to present and discuss those topics in a group like that. And then they also hear from a lot of high-level speakers from the military, from government, and business. And so it's just really a first-class experience for these students to be able to go to. So hopefully we'll continue to sponsor that in the years ahead. And getting back to the JMLC Selfless Service Scholarship, again, this comes from our raising money from our brick program. In front of our building, we have a brick pathway. We call it the Pathway to Selfless Service. Initially, the J. Kokalakis company, who was the main construction company for this building, they donated this brick pathway to us, and then we have used that now to raise money with purchases of a brick. And so someone can purchase a brick to memorialize or honor a loved one, show support for the armed services, or to mark someone's commissioning, their son or daughter that's being commissioned. We've also had some of our graduating classes purchase a brick to just recognize their class, leave their legacy, so to speak, on that pathway. And again, this money goes to our JMLC Selfless Scholarship Fund. And if anyone's interested in that, just you can contact myself or Lori Matthews, and we can get you an order for it. But again, it's a great way to memorialize somebody and giving that money for a good cause. We do have an ROTC Living Learning Committee. The university has approximately 12 or 13 living learning committees. Most of them are major based. ROTC, of course, is not a major based, more of a major interest based type of living learning community with like-minded students. This was started in 2010, and the reason why we started it is because when I was working with ROTC from the very beginning, a lot of parents would ask, and even some students coming in, is there a place on campus where like-minded other ROTC students live? And when I first heard about the Living Learning Community program that the university has, I approached housing and residential education about that, and they were excited to be able to start one for ROTC. So we, been doing this for over 10 years, and it's been a great experience for our students to be able to do that. Again, the ROTC students are kind of unique in that they have to get up early every morning for PT during the week. So, sometimes living with a roommate who has other schedules is difficult. So now, at least in the LLC, everybody has respect for each other, getting up early in the morning. You're with like-minded students who want to, have that same goal of becoming a commissioned officer in the armed services. So the students actually form their own built-in network of peer support. They help each other out and mentor each other and kind of push each other to excel in not only in academics, but PT. A lot of them just go out and do some physical training outside of their normal physical training together. And I've had a great relationship with residential education and supporting this, and without them, it wouldn't be possible. They help with selecting the residence hall advisor, which usually is an ROTC student, and help with a lot of the programming that we do. Because we do some unique things with them, usually we'll have throughout the year, we'll schedule some social events, like a welcome barbecue at the beginning of the year, so students get to know each other, along with some other living learning communities. We usually do an outdoor adventure trip with Campus Rec. And the picture there shows we did a kayaking trip. We've done that for a couple of years now, or hiking somewhere off campus. And then we have some special panel discussions that in the common area. So the students don't have to go anywhere. We bring some instructors into the residence hall, and talk to them about their careers. It's a good opportunity out of the classroom to ask questions and find out some things that maybe you don't ask questions about in a classroom to our ROTC instructors. And the reports I always have from housing is that the LLC floor for ROTC is one of the most active, where students are actually out there in the common area doing things together, and really just being a community in many ways. And I take a survey every year for students that were in the LLC. They're mainly freshmen because it's as a freshman, it's a good way to transition not only to college, but also on-campus life and also life in ROTC. And then after the first year, many of them will make friendships and network with other people, and they go off campus for the rest of their time at USF, usually with the same people. And that's where they establish a lot of good friendships, and not just in the same service, but across services as well. And the survey I do is usually with the students when they're getting ready to graduate and be commissioned. I ask them, hey, looking back 3 years or 4 years, what was the impact of the LLC on your experience at USF? And I always get very positive results about it, about the friendships they've made, how it helped them mature, and really feel confident that they can work with other students in ROTC and in the future, because they'll be running into people serving in the military. It's a small world in many respects. and the experience for them is very positive, and just having that common goal and pushing each other, it really has helped out a lot. And this is the bottom line. I mean, commissioning and graduation and commissioning. I mean, their first priority as an ROTC students is academics, because without getting a bachelor's degree, they can't be commissioned officers. So a lot of emphasis on academics, of course, physical training, etc. But we at here at USF want to commission the best Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and now space officers in the country. And I think what the JMLC does is just give them a little bit of taste of what it's like to work with other services, and being more familiar with what they do, so that you have that common pride in serving our country. And then just to go over some of the unique benefits that I see in having the JMLC here at USF. There's a quote there from one of our students that explains a little bit from a student perspective about just being, in the presence of others, the other services, and hanging out with them whether it's in the joint lounge or in the LLC, or just seeing them on campus or in the building together. But I think we, increase student awareness and understanding of the other services with the activities that we do with the living learning community and within the building. And then also by bringing these scholarship opportunities, it gives the students the ability to go to some of these conferences outside of the USF and meet students from around the country, other universities, et cetera. And then, I think we enhance the ROTC curriculum with the dedicated classroom space that we have in the building. We do keep these audio visual up to date, so it's technology up to date in the classrooms. We have the small arms weapons trainer, rappelling, and all of these, I think, just helps enhance the ROTC curriculum. And myself and Lori Matthews as the JMLC, we're really the continuity for the ROTCs. The ROTC instructors rotate every 2 or 3 years. But we're here, over the years, and we're kind of the face of ROTC in many respects, and just having that relationship with other university departments to maintain that continuity with them, and being aware of what their needs are, and being able to be their proponents consistently over the years. Also, with our building, we do rent space in CWI. We do not have control over the first floor classrooms. Again, that's general university space. But the second floor, our auditorium and the small classrooms and conference rooms are available for rental. Some of you have already done so and know about it. But the auditorium fits about 200 people. We've got movable walls, so the auditorium with the walls closed fits about 200. And then we have 4 classrooms that surround the auditorium. Each holds about 36 people. But those walls, if they're fully open, our auditorium can expand to almost 400 people. And so we do have a lot of events throughout the year that the various USF departments on campus have used it. College of Arts and Sciences, Office of Veteran Success, and others. And also we do have some off-campus entities that have rented our space as well. So if you're looking for a conference or academic, if you do want to schedule a classroom in there, it has to be done outside of the ROTC classroom schedule, because they're our priority as a dedicated classroom space. But Office of Veteran Success has their vets class in here. And then we do have a adjunct professor who teaches a political science class in our building. And so as long as it fits into our schedule, we're able to support that. And Lori Matthews is the point of contact for scheduling, and she's a wealth of information. She does great as far as supporting an event. We do have tables and tablecloths and things like that you don't have to rent separately. So I think that we provide a good service in that regard. And so what's next? I kind of have pictured here what's next for our students. these are students that have graduated from here. We have on our third floor, have pictures throughout the wall of that students send us of what they're doing out in the fleet or out in the Marine Corps, in the Army, etc. And it's nice that our students can see what their alumni are doing right now in the service. Whether it's at sea on a ship, on the ground in Afghanistan, Iraq, deployed in a missile silo, maintaining watch over our nuclear forces. And like the one in the middle there with two of our graduates there holding up a USF flag in a helicopter, which is pretty cool to see. But these students run into each other, around the world. Matter of fact, the top right picture is 4 of our Marines who, again, they graduated and commissioned different years. They knew each other and got together in this one location. I think it was in Afghanistan. So it's neat seeing USF alum serving our country and doing what they've been, what they were here for to do. But what's next as far as the JMLC is, now that we are part of the academic inclusion pillar, we really wanted to be able to now explore new opportunities to engage students for student success, and we'd like to leverage the ideas from Student Support Services, Office of Veteran Success, and the Academic Success Center to see how that can benefit our students. So I'm looking forward to working with them more in the years ahead, and also. And this is particularly with the Office of Veteran Success and Athletics, we'd like to build on that relationship to highlight what USF's commitment is as far as our military-connected students, whether they're dependents of military or veterans or ROTC students, working with athletics and holding their salute to service games, not just a football game, but they're doing salute to service games in multiple sports, and being able to attend those, support them, and then inviting potential donors who have a passion maybe for veterans and the military, inviting them to see with opportunities and what they can do to support our students in those areas. And also it gives us an opportunity to work more with athletics in improving access for ROTC to be able to use some of their facilities, whether it's the track and field stadium, possibly we've used a soccer stadium for events and so forth. So having that relationship with athletics is important. And also another thing that going forward is like the JMLC, along with the ROTC units themselves, is to highlight to U.S. senior leaders, what value ROTC brings to the university, not only with sending USF grads to serve our country, but also contributing to academic success and the academic success matrix. I mean, our students have guaranteed employment when they leave here. Retention is emphasized as far as coming in and making sure you finish college, because without that you can't be commissioned officer. And then each ROTC has their own advisors. Their instructors act as advisors to the students. Not only do they have an academic advisor, they have an ROTC advisor who's going to make sure they stay on track for 4 years. In most cases, some are more because of the type of major, like engineering is longer than 4 years, but most students, it's a 4-year commitment to go through here at USF, get your degree in 4 years, and then graduate and be commissioned. So we help with that as well. So I think that's who we are. I'm the director. Lori Matthews, my assistant. We're located here on the 4th floor of CWI. If you need to get hold of us, and I'll be open to any questions that you may have. Now go ahead and come back. Let's see.
Thank you, John. Anyone have any questions? You could put a question in the chat, or go ahead and unmute and ask. Well, I just want to say I attended the commissioning ceremonies this year for the first time. I've never participated or witnessed one, and I was just so taken aback by the the emotions in the room, in terms of the pride and the love for country, the students just proud of their accomplishments, the excitement for their assignments, where they're going to be heading off to and what they're doing. I mean, to see students going to dental school, going to medical services, going to, right, like such amazing work that they've put in during their time at USF, and heading off there with their families. It's quite emotional, and an event full of pride and love. I felt very fortunate to be a witness to that. So I thank you all for allowing me to join that space. Seeing that there are no questions popping up, again, John, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, and thank you all for UGS for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and so it should be available if you ever would like to go back to it.
Yeah, if anyone would like a tour, yeah, just please contact us. I mean, we do it quite often, especially a lot of students who come here. Especially, we'll get a lot of traffic probably this summer with orientation, but especially students looking for a college, where to go on campus. We have a good selling point for ROTC as compared to some of the other Florida colleges too. So we'd like to tout that as well. For getting students into USF. But I'd be happy to give anyone a tour there. If you want to try out our weapons trainer, I can arrange for that as well, which is an experience. And again, rappelling, if you want to do that, hopefully we'll do it on Family and Friends weekend.
Well, John, I think there was a lot of, I think there were some folks that were excited about that. So I think you're going to have some takers for the
Okay.
rappelling. All right. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone.